All right, guys. Welcome back to the Unrestrained podcast. My name is Isaac Galvez, which I always forget to say.
Bro, everybody's like, "Who's that, bro?" I'm
Right?
like, he forgets. He's the announcer, bro. He forgets to say it.
Yeah, it happens, man. So we got Alfred over there, and
What's up? What's up, everyone? How you doing?
yeah, guys. So we'll get people together, and we don't have a fancy intro today. To be honest with you guys, not at all prepared. This is probably the least prepared or anything that I've done before starting a podcast. Just work, man. This isn't the full-time gig, so that's why we need you guys to
Help us, hey, help us.
subscribe, guys. We're live right now on the Lexit Movement 1, right on YouTube.
Yes, sir. We're on YouTube. We're at the Real Lexit, and we're on X.
That's correct. And you guys can go to our YouTube channel, which is Unrestrained Podcast. That's Unrestrained Podcast, and you guys can go in there and go ahead and subscribe, and this will be posted on there in a few days, usually a day or two after we go live. So if you guys want to go back and watch us like 10 times if you want, share it with all your friends.
Help us out.
Yeah, guys. But yeah, sorry guys. So it looks like Alfred wasn't able to trick anyone into covering last week. Nobody else wanted to.
Bro, everybody's on holiday mode, bro. I think Christmas is coming around. People are busy, man. People got a life, so
yeah,
man. We understand, man.
So every second Tuesday of the month, I'm not able to make it, guys. I got another commitment on that day, so we just couldn't make it work. So I don't know. We'll see. This might end up being like a four episode month. Maybe 5 on a longer month. We'll see. 3 or 4 on the longer month.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys. So man, last time I was here, Syria still existed, and they now have fallen. These drones, man. What's going on with all these crazy drones, guys? Yesterday, I don't know if I'm being paranoid, but I got out of work, and then my wife was telling me that I guess she read that there was drones spotted now here in the West Coast. I think somewhere in Temecula, maybe. I'm guessing somewhere by Pendleton, Inland Empire area. And so we left because she wanted to watch a movie, and we're driving, and like everything in the sky to me was a drone.
Yep.
I'm pretty confident we did see 2. But the reason I'm questioning myself now is because we walked out of the theater after the movie was over, and then the first thing I see, I look up and I'm like, oh, there's one right there. And I get my phone, and because it's like still, it's not moving, and it looks big. And I get my phone out and I start recording it, and the next thing I know, it's getting closer, and now okay, it's a plane. That was just a plane. So now I'm like, all right,
all paranoid.
How many people have done it? Because then I went back and started looking at some of the footage that people are posting on X.
Yep.
And it looked pretty similar to what I had recorded on my phone. It looked the same, like the lights and everything, but it was a plane. 100%, it was a plane. So I'm not saying, guys, that there isn't any drones out there. I'm just wondering if the number of drones in the sky are far less than what's being perceived, I just think to myself, okay, how many out of 10 drone sightings, would one maybe is real?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But with that said, guys, it is frustrating that they won't come out and say what it is, right? Trump came out yesterday, and I'm just killing time because I didn't really want to get too far into this, but Trump came out yesterday in the press conference. Was it yesterday, the press conference? Where he's like, well, they know what it is, right? He said he confirmed the president knows what it is. He said our military knows what it is. They know where it came from, and they know where it went, right? Or came from, or they went. So, and he goes on to say that, all their, why they're not saying anything is, he doesn't understand, right? So then he goes on to say that he's not going to go to Where is it that he plays golf?
Is it Mar-a-Lago?
West? Is it, I want to say Westminster or
Yes. I mean, oh yes, I know.
it's not Westminster, but it's something like that.
New York, right?
It's where he plays golf at. It's in New Jersey, I thought.
Okay.
But anyways, wherever that is, guys, you guys can tell us in the comment. Those of you guys that are here every week, you guys know I'm terrible with names. I forget everything. But yeah, I guess he's saying he's not gonna go, right? So when I think about it, then it's like, oh, okay, well, he knows he seems to know what's going on, and now he's saying he's not gonna go. So I guess I have to. That implies that whatever these drones are not friendly. Then,
well,
he's concerned about it, obviously.
He's concerned about it, but I think for the most part, I don't think he knows that they're not friendly. I mean, what we know, this is what we know, and again, this is part of the speculation, right? When you have a government that's just that has answer. I mean, in my mind, I'm just thinking like, is anybody working together to really, to push information that each agencies can understand what's going on? Like, if, for example, the FAA, do they know what's going on in the skies? I mean, are they in connect? Are they contacting each other, letting them know what each one is doing? Because right now it seems like it's not. And I think that's one of the things one of the biggest issues that we've seen, that these specific agencies are just not communicating. For a fact, one of the things that somebody mentioned was that these were actually HPG, nuclear detector drones.
Okay.
And so what that means is that somebody's mentioning. I'm gonna put it up because a lot of people say, "Hey, show me the fact. Show me what you say." Well, this is a screenshot of somebody letting us know. Here, hold on. I'm adding it in there. For the most part, it's saying that the drones question are explained. It says a DOD contractor explains that the drones are American-made HPG nuclear detector drones. Now, in the thread below, it shows a particular somebody having a conversation and say, "Hey, look, guys, I don't have a pool. I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of people, that I can pull. I'm one of the few groups that knows exactly where the drones are in New Jersey. This tree will go nowhere, meaning like it will go into a void because he doesn't have a lot of followers. He's just a contractor, right? And
he claims he is.
Of course, we don't know. Of course, this is just something that we don't know. But again, when you don't have the transparency from an agent, especially from our own government, telling, "Hey guys, we have a problem. We launch drones just so we can validate certain things." I mean, why do we have APG or these drones that have these kind of capabilities, right, to detect radiation? Why are they out there? I mean, it only leads me to one thing, right? As a citizen, number one is, what are they hiding? And have we been exposed to anything that has to do with radiation?
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Why are we concerned? Supposedly, I mean, I have. So first off, we don't know who this is. It's hard, man. There's just too much stuff, man. And again, the whole point being that unfortunately we don't have a media we can trust.
Of course,
our government doesn't give a crap about us. They don't work for us anymore. They don't believe they do. And I'm gonna agree with them. They don't. They don't work for us. People can hem and haw that we're the taxpayer and you work for me. It's like, really? Yeah. Show.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do? I mean, what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean?
We're seeing the other face that is telling us, no, we don't. We don't work for you, because at the end of the day, we don't need to think about it. One of the biggest agencies that has failed their what do they call the audits, right? Has been the Pentagon, right? I mean, think about it. The last 7 years, they failed their audits.
Right.
They're not giving any account for the last 7 years to anybody. They're not doing it to us.
Yeah.
As taxpayers. So I agree with Isaac. They don't report to us, even though a lot of people say, "Well, the government they're working." No, they don't. We should be grateful. Somebody said we should be grateful that we live in a nation that protects us. You know what I mean? I mean, humbling. That's a humbling for somebody to say that, right?
You have the chats up there, Alfred? I don't see any.
Yeah, the chats are up, and I don't see anybody chatting yet.
Oh, okay.
They'll come up in here.
All right, guys. Well, yeah. So that's what gets frustrating about this this whole situation. That unfortunately we've allowed our government to go so rogue. They have no respect for us at all, and they have no reason to serve us. You know, so that's where we're at right now, and unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of work to change that. You know,
right.
But on that track, I think Alfred, you have to remind me. I think we wanted to talk about this. I think this is a city council, man, in Chicago. Man, we keep seeing these videos in Chicago. The people in Chicago. See, I guess going along with what we're saying here is this is what needs to happen, guys. But you know, the people of Chicago, you know, these guys, man, they keep showing up to these council meetings and just, you know, expressing themselves and making themselves heard. And the issue is that we need more. We need more of this. But let's go ahead and play this video because apparently, you know, we just won. Trump won the majority vote, right? Has a major mandate. He ran on fixing our illegal immigration problem and mass deportations. And yet we have the Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson, wanting to give, I guess, this is a budget, right? I guess they're doing the budget.
They're doing a budget, checking. You know, they're at the end of the day, they validate the budget, and they validate it on these meetings where they have citizens sitting and validating. You know, hey guys, this is what we're going to spend. And I think in this conversation, you can see people are rated. People are upset. They're starting to see that some of the money, it's not going where it's supposed to go, right? It's, you know, for example, we have citizens in there talking about you should be closing off certain centers because they're giving money again to house immigrants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so people are upset about this. It's creating a lot of havoc in in Chicago, and to be the devil's advocate, as it should, right? As it should. We should be in there speaking on our behalf and saying like it's enough. Accountability from the citizens. So this is a really good video because it just shows you that frustrations. People are frustrated, but at the same time, I think now the official understands and he's frustrated as well.
I don't know. Let's see. I haven't seen this yet. Let me see if it's true.
Sure, let's do it.
Our next speaker is the Chicago conservative.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
You spent over $574 million on illegal immigrants here in Chicago, Illinois since 2022. Now, you still feel like you have to harbor these illegals, which is not a good idea. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's a good idea to challenge Tom Homan on this because he's trying to clean up our cities, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Now, let me just remind everybody here that Brandon Johnson is terrible with the budget. How is this $40 million credit line is going to work exactly? Because the key word is credit. So how much will we be using from this $40 million? And the real question is, how much will we be paying back? Now, you want to sit here, you and JB Pritzker want to puff out your chest and fight Tom Homan. We need Tom Homan here in Chicago. We need Donald Trump. And I don't want to see people like Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, you know, haul you up out of here and become prosecuted. I don't want to see that happen, but they will do their job if they have to, Brandon Johnson. Now, we are $1 billion in debt. That's absolutely insane. Kamala Harris, she spent $1 billion on her campaign less than a year, and she's $20 million in debt. So it's looking like Democrats are bad with money. Now,
this is how to get in shape.
If you want to drop this,
See, that's why we need all of you guys, Matt, to help us so we can.
so we can subscribe here. But go ahead, but
There you go.
for 10 to 15 seconds last time I was speaking, and I really did not appreciate that at all. But I got a Christmas present for you. let's remind the people of Chicago that Brandon Johnson spent $32,000 in campaign funds on haircuts and makeup.
Oh.
So I got an early Christmas present for you, Brandon Johnson. This is some makeup for you right here. You got some rouge. You got the makeup brush right there, so you can save this people some money, for crying out loud. Now, let me tell you people, I'm going to be serious here. We need to start voting different in these cities like New York and Chicago. Stop voting these people in. It's not Democrat versus Republican anymore. It is populist versus establishment. It is the populist versus the establishment. Stop letting them trick you into the race baiting when it comes to Brandon Johnson. Oh, black people need help too. Trump want to hurt black people. What are you talking about? We're legal here. We are legal. Now, I'm trying to be nice about this. And Mr. Brandon Johnson, I do respect you in a little bit of way because you're trying the best that you can. I really want to believe that. But listen, man, you got a 14% approval rating. So the people is looking like they're telling you that you're fired, man. So I'm just humbly asking you, Brandon Johnson, to please come up with something that's reasonable by the end of this year, because I don't want to see a government shutdown, Mr. Brandon Johnson. Please do your job. I don't care if you're black. Chicago needs to get rid of DEI. I don't care if you're black.
Whoa.
Can you do the job? Can you do the job, Mr. Brandon Johnson? And it's looking like you can't do the job.
Look at the faces.
So please don't fail us.
Wow, what a great job that guy did. You know, what a great job. Yeah, man. His tone, his demeanor, his charisma. Man, I wonder if that guy has a YouTube channel, man, because that guy was good.
Well, I think it's black conservative. I think he mentioned black conservative. I think.
Well, I mean, that's what he calls himself.
It could be.
We'd have to look it up to see what that is. I mean,
but he's straight to the point. Number one is the citizens of Chicago have identified a problem here. Okay, they've identified that number one is that they're relying heavily on what? On people like Brandon Johnson to number one, to compile down their numbers, to take care of the finances, right? To validate where we need to spend money, where we need to invest money, where we need to, remove money, right? And here they are coming together and saying enough is enough. Brandon Johnson, it's enough. Where you, the community is coming together now and telling you that we don't want to pay no more money on centers, on shelters, because guess what happens? Nobody has an account. There's no accountability when you're giving money to nonprofits. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say it doesn't matter if there was accountability or not. You're spending money on non-citizens. You're taking money from taxpayers, citizens of the United States, citizens of the state of Chicago, and you're spending it on illegal immigrants, and it's not even money you have. Mm-hmm. You're talking about getting. It sounded to me like he's talking about getting a credit line to pay this.
Yeah.
So it's like what's really going on, guys? I mean, what goes back to what we were talking about, right? It's these people are supposed to be serving us. They're supposed to be when they say public servants, they're not public servants. There are rulers now at this point. And we'll see what this guy Brandon Johnson does. I mean, every council meeting I think is like this. So it's like these guys unfortunately, it seems like these things keep falling on deaf ears. And hopefully the Trump administration follows through and does their job and starts holding these guys accountable. And I don't know, I know that Tom, the border czar, has been out there and he's talking about like, hey, some of these mayors and governors, if they're violating the law, maybe, if they're, I guess, harboring criminals, probably, why should they be held to a different standard than a normal American citizen? If I were harboring a criminal, right, which somebody who violates our border laws is by definition a criminal, right? If I'm harboring that person and I would go to jail. So we need to do the same thing with these mayors. We need to do the same thing with these governors. I don't know if there's any laws or any kind of policy that prevents them, or do they have some sort of immunity from this? Well, if they do, then we need to take a look at that.
Mhm.
We need to take a whatever roadblock is in the way from us getting control back and being able to hold people accountable for committing crimes. They need to be held to the same standard as we are.
100%. But you know what? I mean, we see this more often, right? We see this a lot. We're seeing this a lot where we have people now are starting to see. You know, you guys.
Well, they're not starting to see at this point. So people in Chicago have been knowing. They've been for years now. Alfred, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These guys aren't just starting to see. I mean, they've been out there for years now, going to these city councils. I mean, you could go on YouTube, on social media, and you'll find video after video like this of them going out. This is why I think a lot of people even wouldn't have been surprised if Trump would have took Chicago or took Illinois, because you know the African American community in Chicago, man, they've woken up for sure. It's just the problem is, Alfred, is you know, it's hard for the Democrats to change their behavior. They've been able to basically act like our overlords for decades now. We can't expect these people to understand that that's over. It's a wrap. People are actually paying attention. I mean, think about this, Alfred. If it wasn't for X, you wouldn't even know about those drones in New Jersey, probably.
That's true.
You would have no idea. The news would have never reported that. But they're forced to talk about it now because it's all over X, right? Think about like, I don't know if you ever go on, how often you go on X. I don't really go on much on other places. I just started going on X just because after the election, people kept talking. Well, not after, just before the election. I started noticing that, man, I kept seeing a lot of people talk about, oh, I saw this on X, I saw that on X, right? And I'm like, man, okay, I need to go on X, man, because it seems like everything's on X, right? But what I've been noticing on my X, how I'm getting a lot of videos, and I don't even know how this happened. If I like started following somebody, they post a lot of videos of like Muslim women being abused.
Gotcha.
Like I saw one today where it was like a sex slave sale in some Muslim country, and they had all these women lined up, and they had like little leashes on them, like a leash, like dogs, and they had them sitting there, and the guy's out there, and he's selling them as sex slaves, right? There was another one I saw. I don't know if some of you guys might see this, where there's a older gentleman, and he has the woman. He's sitting on a chair, and she's sitting on next to him, and he has her on a leash too, right? And he's got like some sort of giant straw. It looks like a long straw, and I can't. It's hard to see, but it seems like he had it like in her eye. Like he has the one end on his mouth, the other end's like on her eye, I think. And he blows something, and she starts freaking out. So like, I don't know what he's saying, but he's like torturing her somehow.
Wow.
She did something bad. You know what I mean? And the reason I'm bringing this stuff up is because now that I'm actually spending time on X and seeing some of these things, it's no wonder that they hate Elon so much for this.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no wonder that Elon is such a threat to the establishment, because we wouldn't be seeing any of these things. We would, so yeah, man, X is a problem. I mean, even the videos, have you seen the videos in the UK that people in the UK keep posting of the Muslims out there?
Yep. Yeah.
Like attacking people, praying on the streets, it's like they basically have taken over.
Right.
I mean, we wouldn't know any of these things. CNN would never report this stuff.
That's true.
So, it's a problem because Americans like us can see those videos, see what's going on in Europe, right? And look and say, whoa, wait, if we don't do something about our border, we're gonna end up like these guys. See, they don't want to see that. right?
True.
Because it just affirms what we're hearing from conservative media that, look, guys, if we don't do something about this border crisis, we're going to end up having, these bunch of terrorists and radical Muslims come in here, right, and start causing problems. Well, guess what? If you go on next, you can see that being carried out, right? So anyway, I don't know how I got into that tirade, but
but it's true. But you know what? It could be done. It could be done. Listen, everyone. Sometimes, all we got to do it just show up. You know what I mean? It's working. Whatever it is, I hear this all the time from a lot of conservative commentators and people that are just looking into this. Like, man, like, bro, sometimes it feels like we're not winning and blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, like, you are not looking deep enough, man. You're not looking. For a fact, let me show you something. Recently you've seen this on the news, right? The Daily Mail reported that Justin Trudeau is in the brinks of resigning as his liberal government crumbles. Think about it. This is the guy, right? That actually, in the time where you had the truckers, doing their full on going into the Capitol, this is the guy that froze accounts. You know what I mean? Of funding from these people, just because they don't have the Constitution like we do. You know what I mean? They don't have the freedom of, freedom of speech like we do. So now we're starting to see around us that, and I can show you example after example of these liberal strongholds that are slowly being chipped away. Why? Because people are out there bringing in common sense. That's all they're doing. Common sense policies, right? And I'm sure if we dig deep, into Justin Trudeau's, failures and stuff, we're going to find out that there's a lot of stuff why it's best for him to resign. You know what I mean? It is best for him to let go of the grip that he has on Canada. I mean, he met with Donald Trump, and Trump, what did Trump do? He called him Governor of Canada. You know what I mean? Like, in a sense, saying like, bro, like, you got to wake up. Something's happening here that potentially, I mean, I don't think that it's not a great idea if we bring in the 51 state, right, of Canada, of Great Canada, right, and we put a governor. I mean, think about it.
I don't know, Alfred. See, it's hard for me to get excited about that kind of stuff. It's just okay. It's all good, Alfred. It's all good but I won't be excited that he's gone. Okay, this is the thing we need to learn, guys. We need to stop being excited about. We need to start getting excited when something actually real happens. Like, okay, like right now, yes, it's exciting Trump won, right? It's like, yeah, we celebrated a day or two, whatever. Okay, the reality is, right now we're in a holding pattern. We're just kind of waiting for him to be president. Other than that, we haven't really won anything. Okay. Yeah, we weren't president, but what's he going to do, Alfred? That's the thing. We do, he's already made some mistakes. Okay. I mean, I saw some headline, and I forgot what position it was, but he's, I was going to bring it up, but I'm like, okay, I haven't read this article yet, but there's a cabinet position that he's looking to assign a Democrat to. Okay. Which I don't know who the Democrat is. And don't know much about the guy. But what's this? Democrat nominees are never. Yeah, so it's so I'm like, okay, now I got to figure out what's he doing here. What's he doing here with this Democrat? I don't trust anybody. To me, you have a Democrat next to your name, you're already automatically disqualified. Okay. I know people would look at that like, oh, you're close, you're not open-minded. Like, no, I'm not. Like, just like to me, I'm not open-minded. I am not open-minded about any Democrat because every single one of them, you can't find one that you can trust. Only exceptions, I would say, is so far RFK. But we'll see. Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard, but I only say that because Tulsi left the party and others have left too. but it's the way she left, right? It's
Mhm.
it's the things that has said and done since that period of time that she's now redeemed herself, right? RFK, the same thing. Okay, we could look at him and say, okay, he left, but then I look at how much the Democrats and the media hate him. That's all I need to know. I'm good then. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so same thing with Tosi. The fact that the media and the Democrat Party establishment hate her so much gives her street cred. That already for me validates her as okay. She's legit. Then she's legitimately now has left the party because even when she was a Democrat, she never said anything crazy. She wasn't an American hater, and neither was excuse me, RFK. Right? They didn't hate America. I could just look at them and say, okay, I just don't agree with some of their, liberal policies or point of view.
Right.
Excuse me. But yeah, I'm good with them. I could trust them. I think they're real. Are they wrong about some things? Yes. Are they part of the establishment? No. And like the guy in the video said in the Chicago, right, where he said it's not about Democrat and Republican, it's about establishment and populist. He's right. And the problem is that the whole Democratic Party is establishment, every single one of them. And like Fetterman, kind of weird how this guy's sounding kind of reasonable, right? But see, I think Fetterman's just not dumb. He's one of the very only one that I know of who actually looked at the election and is coming to the right conclusion by saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pivot now, and I'm not gonna go along and toe the line anymore because that's basically a death sentence for my career, right? So his motives, I don't not for one second believe that his motives are like, hey, I love America, and I'm gonna actually change my ways and be more reasonable, right? I'm not gonna spew out the same liberal talking points that the party's feeding me, right? I'm gonna go my own way and sound more reasonable. I just think that's motivated by preservation, right?
Right.
That's not motivated by like, oh, okay, I've changed. I understand what's going on here. We need to stop and change direction, because all this is crazy. No, this is just to preserve himself. And on that note, another thing, Alfred, which I didn't get a chance to bring up since we're on this track is, Czech from Young Turks is out there.
Yep.
Okay. He's on the PBD podcast.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you saw the PBD podcast.
Yes, sir.
With him on there, right? So I was tempted to do a whole just reaction thing on that for the podcast.
Right.
But if you guys, don't believe it for 1 second, okay, that he's still not a radical leftist.
Oh, he is.
Okay.
He's the same thing as Chris Cuomo. We call him a shameful opportunist, right? A shameful opportunist, meaning like there's these people out there that are never going to change. Right now, what's happening with Shank is they're getting hit hard. A lot of their audiences are going away quickly.
Correct.
So now what's going to happen? What are they seeing? They're seeing the number. Exactly.
They're just trying to save their businesses. They're trying to save their whole empire. They're that's all Shank is. Okay. Now it's good because now he's forced to side with us on issues, right? He's forced to. But don't wait for 1 second, guys. As soon as the tide turns, let's say, he's stabbing us in the back, 100%. Okay. Now you look at let me see what her name is. Who was his co-host on the Young
Anna
Turks.
Kasparian.
Is that her name? She was on the Glenn Beck.
Yes.
Okay. So you listen to that conversation. And I'm like, okay, this girl's the real deal. Okay. Because Shank is still, Shank is still irrational. When like J6, that's Trump trying to overthrow the government. Like, bro, Jake, you're smarter than that. Okay. Do I believe that you're ignoring all the evidence that's come out showing that the FBI had people there, right? That they even broke laws themselves. He keeps talking about Donald Trump saying that he wasn't going to leave office, right? Cenk, you really believe that, bro? Like, do I believe you believe that? No, I give you more credit than that. Okay,
the guy's smart, bro. I mean, if you really pay close, blow my mind. It just blows my mind that he shows up on PBD, and first of all, man, the guy shows up on PBD and starts saying, "I have a great idea." Like conservative, like people that are conservative haven't been on this fight for years. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, the fight to be able to push and say, like, hey, this is what's going on, everyone. Hey, liberals, this is what's going on, right? They're onto them. They know that the government is not for you, right? We know this for years. Yeah. And he says, it is best that we meet in the common. That now we understand that the government is not for us. Since when did you all of a sudden, the light bulb?
He's claiming that he's always been that.
But that's what he said. Yeah. He said that he's been doing it, but he's trying to, again, like you mentioned, he's trying to preserve himself.
Yeah.
He's trying to say, like, hey, this is something that we, that why did his narrative change all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Because guess what?
Yeah, if you ask him, he doesn't give you an answer that makes sense.
Right.
He just says, "Oh, well, I was wrong on this, but it doesn't mean that I was wrong about Trump being a racist." Like, bro, stop. Okay. Now Anna, on the other hand, what's her name? Anna
Kasparin.
Kasparin. Okay. Mm-hmm. When Glenn, on the interview with Glenn Beck, when he asked her, like, "Hey, what was that, like, aha moment, right? Like, that made you realize, like, hey, maybe I need to, maybe I'm wrong about some of these things," right? And her response to me is absolutely acceptable. She admitted that she lived in an echo chamber, right? Mm-hmm. She admitted that she got her news just basically off other people's saying things, right? And other media networks.
Right.
But it wasn't until, I guess, she was attacked, sexually attacked
by homeless.
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I guess she came out and talked about it publicly. The left came after her and started attacking her for talking bad about homeless people, right? And that's when she figured out, oh man, what the heck? How I'm the victim here, like, I'm the victim here, and I'm being smeared for, basically talking about her story that she was sexually attacked by a homeless person, as if this was her fault. Isn't it interesting? A conservative says, hey, if somebody questions a woman for being sexually attacked by saying, hey, maybe she shouldn't be wearing that 2-piece bikini walking down the street like that. Like, that's probably not a good idea. You're going to get attention you don't want, right? If you say something like that, then you're blaming her for being sexually attacked, right? But yet the left is okay with attacking her simply for talking about the flag. What is this? The Young Turks, Anna Kasparin, says she woke up after being molested by LA homeless man, and the good people slammed her for talking about it. So the good people, she's referring to the left, right? Because they're supposed to be the good, the highly moral, right? So again, the left is okay with just slamming her simply for talking about it. And she said that then at some point she just decided that, she's going to start watching some of these hearings on her own rather than depending on the media to report and, report on it, right? And consuming her news that way. She decided to basically cut the media out, and I'm going to guess she's going on C-SPAN, which is how I kind of started. That's what I did in the beginning when I first started really getting into this, is going straight to the source, actually watching the hearings, watching C-SPAN, right? And then then you'd go and watch a news network report on it, and you're like, dude, I just sat through 2 hours of that hearing, and I did not see any of the things these guys are talking about, right? And so that's her process now. Well, that's why she's now starting to see like, oh, wait a minute, I've been wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Wow.
And see, and this is, but bro, this is the left. In a nutshell, see that, bro, how many of us haven't been attacked by homelessness? How many of us haven't stepped on the crap while we're walking dogs? How many of us haven't gone through an experience like that when you're dealing with somebody with mental health?
Yeah.
And we're bottling in. She had an opportunity. She did the right thing, which is speak out on it and saying, "Hey guys, enough. This is enough. This is crazy." And she just got so much heat, you know. But that pushed her away closer to, to where many of us have been, meaning like many of us have been doing a lot of research. I don't depend on MSNBC. Yeah. I don't depend on CNN and all these things. It's just we have to consciously look for the truth on our own.
Yeah, in the beginning, when you first, I mean, if you're somebody who doesn't believe and you think that conservatives or media is a bunch of racist liars, then okay, that's fine. Just go on CNN, or I'm sorry, C-SPAN. Okay, go on C-SPAN and watch stuff on your own. Watch the press conferences, being streamed live.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the hearings being streamed live. You don't, watch the votes. You don't need to watch the news to see that. You could go on C-SPAN and do it.
Right.
Okay. And there's no news anchor telling you their opinion. You're just sitting there watching. Do the work. Sit there and watch all of it. Okay. And then go on the news and see what they said, how they reported, what you just saw. Okay. Go on the news and see how they're reporting the press conference that you just saw and sat through. Okay. And with your own eyes and ears, and see if that matches. See if that matches what you saw. See if what they're saying matches what you actually saw and heard. That's how you have to start out. Okay? And eventually, you'll start finding news sources that you can trust, because what ends up happening is you watch, like I said, you watch the hearing, you watch the press conferences, you watch a particular news network, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I saw. Yeah, I agree. That's exactly how that went down. Right? That's exactly what happened. And after a while, you're like, okay, they've gained some of your trust.
100%.
Anyways, what do we got up next, Alfred?
Yep. Hey, by the way, man, I just want to give a quick reminder that we are live. We're actually live. So if you guys want to join in on this conversation, you guys can dial the direct line. We have a direct studio line, man. Finally, we got 714-464-0747. Please, sometimes people will call and try to sell us stuff. We're not for that bad. Use it. We only use this line just to actively connect with you guys. So please, if you guys want to participate in today's session, please go ahead and dial 714-464-0747, and you'll be dialed directly in here, and we're going to go ahead and get you in here and get you connected. Also, we're looking at their chats, man. Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, we're right now in YouTube, Facebook, and X. So please go ahead and send us your comments. Let us know where you're listening from, where you're hearing us. Just send us a quick shout out, at least, so we know that people are paying attention and watching us. So please go ahead and do that as we continue with this session. All right. I wanted to discuss a little bit about what's going on in Russia with this, this general. I mean, it's I get it is a huge deal, I guess. I mean, something big. You guys know. And a lot of people are going to say, well, I just want us to focus on news here. Of course. But listen, this is just so we can see what's happening in other countries, parts of the countries, man. Well, this general got, blown up, man. And so we have a quick video to share just so you can see. And again, sometimes based on the it's very sensitive. So please, discretion be advised, as we say. But this is what's happening in other countries, man. Generals are getting blown up.
I wonder, will they let us play this on YouTube?
I don't know. We're gonna see. Hopefully,
well, I mean, you don't see the guy die.
We don't see anything. We don't see him dying.
You just see him you just see an explosion. But I guess let's play it and see what happens.
Hopefully, man. Let's see.
It's on, is it on X? Or is it?
It's on. It is on. It is on X. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people have seen it. I think for the most part, people have
Well,
seen.
let's see if YouTube doesn't take it down, but we'll see. What we got, I
Hopefully,
guess.
hopefully they don't. We're gonna try and see, and hopefully they don't. They don't. You know, they don't do anything. They don't do anything drastic, right? As we say, right? But here is the here's the video. You can see he's just walking out, catching, and then
Well, you just see someone walk out, but there's two people. Boom.
yeah.
So I'm guessing. I mean, I haven't read too much about this, but I'm guessing. I would assume that whoever detonated the bomb
Mhm.
was watching,
Of course.
or unless there's some sort of trigger device. I don't know. Could be. I'm no bomb expert, but what's the other article we had prepped? Because see, the reason I even wanted to talk about this, I hadn't seen the video, but on one of the, oh, you don't have it anymore, huh? It's okay. The reason I even had brought this up is to Alfred is oh yeah, I don't think you have the article anymore.
No, what was it? I'll find it.
Well, yeah, we're not going to spend too much time on it, but
Okay.
but so again, guys, this is a Russian, I believe he's a general,
Mm-hmm.
right? That was blown up, and when I saw this report that came out on this, I've talked about this before. They're suspecting that Ukraine carried this out. Yeah, so Lieutenant Igor Kurlov, he's the commander of the Russian Armed Forces, Radiological, Chemical, and Biological Defense Unit, as well as one of the deputies were killed. Also, that was the second person, was a deputy in a bombing earlier tonight at the entrance at the apartment building of Ryazansky district of Moscow. So we talked about, like, we talked about how patient Putin is. Okay, guys, because they keep telling us that he's a radical, that he's this radical, crazy dictator. And I'm not saying he's an angel. I'm not saying that some of the reports of him imprisoning reporters, and maybe even going after his political adversaries by killing them. I'm not saying that probably doesn't happen, but is he that big of a threat to the world as they're making it sound? It just doesn't. It doesn't seem that way, because again, guys, we've helped Ukraine send bombs, or we've supplied them the bombs that they've used to attack their homeland. We've now, well, not us, but I'm sure we helped in some way. I mean, carry this out. I mean, at the very least, we're sending them money. So we probably we probably paid for the bomb, and whatever it took to actually carry out this assassination. I mean, we at the very least funded it for sure.
100%. I mean,
So-
just today, bro. We just heard about the CR that it's ruffling some feathers again, man. Mike Johnson is continuing to send pork out to Ukraine. I mean, and again, people are everybody's been saying, like, dude, why are we sending more money on a continuous CR that was created here? It just does not make any sense. So
yeah, so the point being is that why, if Putin was as big of a radical as we were being led to believe, they just killed one of his generals, guys. Why has he not nuked everybody? I mean, to me, it seems like this is not the patience, and the response does not seem to me like that of a radical, crazy maniac that wants to go out and take over the world. You know what I'm saying? So, man, the guys, and understand that he's got to be under a lot of political pressure from within. So how would we react if one of our generals was assassinated? Okay, if one of our generals was assassinated by a foreign enemy, and our president didn't make something happen, we would be pissed. You know what I mean? So think about Putin's likely getting that kind of pressure, guys. He's got to be getting that kind of pressure, but yet he hasn't reacted like people would expect him to. It's clear to me that the guy is just writing it out because he knows, like, man, I just got to hold on here until Trump comes into office.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying, bro.
You know,
I see this all the time, man. I'm seeing all the outlets, everybody speaking and saying January 20th cannot come any sooner, man. Everybody in it sooner. Terry McNeely says, I believe the biggest threat to the world is this current administration. We have assisted so many evil acts monetarily.
Oh, yeah.
It's sickening. That is true, Terry. That is true.
Yeah, it's exactly the problem. Like, guys, it's you have to self-reflect, and you're like, man, you know, are we really the problem? You know, is Syria falling a good thing? Right? Like, what are we waiting? Again, you know, we go back to Trudeau. Okay, yeah, great. But what's he getting replaced with? Do you know for sure, Alfred, that you're going to get something better? That we should be that we should even be excited that Trudeau is going to resign?
You know what, man? At this point, I'm happy for the Patriots, the Canadian Patriots that are in this standing fight to remove this clown.
Okay.
I mean, I am for them. I'm seeing their joyful faces, and I'm content with that.
Okay.
You know,
well, that's all great, but they better have a plan.
Of course.
They better hope that they get something better than Trudeau, because you can always get worse.
100%.
You know?
So I mean, think our media is saying that we're getting worse. I mean, think about it. They think Donald Trump is going to be worse. He's going to be a dictator. That's what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
But in a sense, look, I think for it, I think we've learned to celebrate victories. I think little small victories, you know, and I think that's contentful as it is. And I know you've seen a lot of this before, and I myself, I'm starting to see a lot of this stuff. But every victory here, it's helpful. Yeah. It brings hope, and I think a lot of people in Canada should be rejoicing for this change. And of course, that is in the back of their mind. The question that you said is, are you for real? Do you know that you will get somebody better? That's a good question.
You better hope so. I mean, that's for me where I'm at, guys. It's like years and years of ups and downs and excitement. Like, oh, okay, yes, oh, Trump won here, but then it's like, oh, okay, now we got COVID and we're shut down. And then let me remind you guys, you know,
we got 2022. Remember the red wave? Remember?
Yeah, remember the red wave that never happened. You're like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh, right?
Yeah.
Hey, oh,
yeah.
That's what it's been years now. So when I see stuff like that, it's hard to get excited. That's why even now it's like, even now with Trump coming in, it's hard for me to not remind myself of all the things that we need to be concerned about with him. Again, let me just remind everyone. He did not pardon the J6 people before he left his first term.
Right.
Okay. So is it not reasonable for me to say that Trump is part of the reason why we have patriots that have been rotting in jail and suffering for the last 4 years? Like, why is he not held responsible for that? Mm-hmm. He could have pardoned, and there's no reason you can possibly give me that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. I already know what it's going to be. Like, oh, well, you know, it's his first term. And so he was hoping he still has to remember for a second term. Right. So
now he knows.
Now he knows. And it's like, bro, okay. Do we really take a chance? Is it guaranteed that he was going to get a second term? Should we be taking a chance with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you're one of those people that J6 people sitting in jail,
right, and saying like, the only thing I did was go to a rally, grandparents.
Some of them didn't even go to the rally.
Right.
Some of them showed up like hours after,
late.
So anyways, it doesn't matter. The point being is that I cannot accept that rationale saying that, oh, he didn't pardon them because it wouldn't have looked bad, and then, you know, remember, he still had a second term and he would have to run again. So he would, bro, do we take a chance with that? You're not guaranteed to win, Trump. How about we play it safe and you pardon them people in case you're not even guaranteed to live
Right.
the next day.
Right.
So
But think about it. I mean, for him, you think he was thinking to live? I mean, 2 attempt assassinations.
well, yeah, that's my point, Alfred. Like to me, you should not. No, there's no reason for him to not have pardoned him. And nobody's, I don't know. I could be wrong. Do you know of an interview where
Mhm.
Trump has been asked that specific question? Why did you not pardon the J6ers before you left office?
Right.
Right? I mean, again, same thing with
Well,
Edward Snowden.
and
Why did
again,
he not
he-
pardon it? Is he
Right,
going to
right.
pardon
Oh, I hear
Snowden
you.
this time?
I hear you. I know what you're saying.
I mean, bro, like nobody ever asked him those things. And that's what worries me about like Trump. That's where I do buy a little bit into like guy, he can do whatever he want and he'll get it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is though, I do see that there's more people that are like me now
Mm-hmm.
that are saying some of the things I'm saying where it's like, hey guys, like we need to keep an eye on Trump. We need to keep him on check.
100%. And I think for the most part, man, everybody, I mean, everything that's happening right now with Trump, I mean, we're starting, believe me, bro, I wake up and now, even though there's a little bit of peace, I'm constantly thinking like, okay, well, is he gonna flip? Is he gonna do something crazy?
I mean,
is he gonna do something crazy, wild? Is he gonna align to what the media are saying, or even that? Is that the grace and is this what you want? We want the justice. We want justice on his hand. Do we want him to bring down the hammer, right, and to handle business, right? But talking about Trump, bro, on one of this, on his on I found a there's an article that shows a good conversation where it shows Trump, and in notes here it says Trump not eligible for immunity under New York hush money case, judge rules.
Yeah.
Right. So we were talking about this in the beginning. I mean, to what you're mentioning, bringing up all these questions and stuff. Well, you guys know this has been a criminal case where he's been indicted for 34 counts of, of incidents and unlawful use of tax money and using not only tax money but also using campaign money, right, to pay off.
Yeah, I don't know if tax money was involved, but I believe it was campaign money.
It was campaign money, yeah. Campaign money. And so this
Is
Monday,
what they're claiming, anyways.
Yep, that's what they're claiming. But this Monday, Judge Juan Merchant has said on Monday that Trump does not, he does not qualify for immunity under this for this case, I guess.
Yeah, they're saying that what it says Trump had sought.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second here. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, Trump has sought to dismiss his criminal indictment and vacate the jury verdict on the grounds of that prosecutors during the trial last May introduced an evidence relating to Trump's official acts as a president, as the Supreme Court later ruled in July that Trump is entitled to presumptive immunity from criminal prosecution for official acts undertaken while in office. So my argument with this, we were trying to research this, is that it's from what I can gather, and you can correct me in the chat, the guy's technically right. Now, I'm not arguing whether the merits and the evidence is points to any criminality. I mean, obviously, I believe the whole thing is bogus, right? 100%. But with that said, from what I can tell, the evidence that was being presented were things like some note, I guess, some financial documents. But those financial documents were all from 2016. So my understanding is what the court ruled on where they're talking about Trump being entitled to presumptive immunity has to do with evidence being used, evidence that was pertained or falls within the time frame that he was president. And this was in 2016 during his campaign to become president.
Right.
So the judge in New York's technically not is correct from what I can tell, that he doesn't qualify. I would think. I'm not a lawyer. I just have my brain and common sense that's not common, or can just think logically that, okay, presidential immunity supposedly only applies to decisions or anything that that would be during the time, any documents that were produced, instructions, emails, phone conversations of any kind of evidence that was from the time period of him being president would fall under that immunity. But in this case, it seems like all the evidence was during the time frame of 2016. So even the supposed the crime that we know is fake was he wasn't president yet.
Gotcha.
So I don't think the judge is wrong on this, but I could be wrong. But again, it doesn't even matter. You know, I don't spend a lot of time on these ones because to me it's like, okay, well, we already know he's not going to jail. So what does it matter? I mean, it would be nice for it to get dropped. Worst case, okay, he could just pardon himself, and guess what? He's no longer a convicted felon.
Yep, 100%.
So whatever, I mean, I don't know what I'm missing here, but
no, you're onto some, Sherlock. The point of the matter is that you not only you have a portion of the judicial system protecting immunity of president, but now you have a judge in a court, state of New York, pretty much going and saying, no, this doesn't apply. We're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
And I guess at the end of the day is the money spent, more money for him to throw out at lawyers and more money to throw at this situation here.
Yeah. Speaking of money, I kind of wanted to circle back to this whole conversation we're having on Michael Johnson a little bit. You were mentioning the budget.
Yep.
So this article here on the AP, Congress unveils funding deals with more than $100 billion in disaster aid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like so the article goes on to say congressional leaders have unveiled a stopgap spending bill that will keep the federal government funded through March 14th and provide more than $100 billion in emergency aid to help states and local communities recover from the Hurricane Helen and Milton and other natural disasters.
Well, I mean, sorry to cut you off there, but what happened to that funding initially from FEMA? It wasn't
we know what happened with it. They gave it all to illegal immigrants, right? That's what they say. So we wouldn't have to do this $100 billion if they hadn't already spent the money on illegal immigration. So here we go, guys. Right? The measure would prevent partial government shutdown set to begin after midnight Friday. It would kick final decisions on this budget year spending levels to a new Republican-led Congress and President-elect Donald Trump. The continuing resolution generally continues current spending levels for agencies. So the spending levels remain the same. We've been going through this time and time again, guys. And remember, okay, I'm saying it right now so you guys can come back to this episode, okay, down in the future here, if we're all still alive and aliens haven't taken over. Drones. Is the first time during Trump's first term, that first budget debate, right? He said, if you guys remember the famous conversation with him and Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, right? Where they're sitting in the White House, and he said he would gladly shut down, that he would let the government shut down, right? That he would gladly do it, unless he got funding for the border, right? And what happened? Trump backpedaled on it. He didn't get what he wanted. Okay. They ended up folding and conceding and spending billions of dollars in pork. And then he said that he wouldn't do it again. And guess what? He did it again the second time. Okay. So here we go, guys. Mark your calendars, because this continuing resolution carries us over to what did they say? March 14th, right?
Yep.
Okay. So March 14th, guys, mark your calendars and let's see what happens. Let's see how tough. Let's see if Trump continues to allow funding for abortions in other countries And let's see if is the Doge going to actually, that's what we're going to know if the Doge is going to do their job and start pushing to stop funding for like PBS, like all this crap. And I know I've heard some commentators say like, that's really a drop in the bucket, guys. We gotta, it's really the
compromise. We got to compromise on PBS.
Well, no, they're saying, the big spending is definitely defense and the social programs, right?
Right.
And they're right. That's where the real cuts need to happen. That's where and on that note, go back and watch that interview with PBD and Shank where they walk through. Man, that would be a good one for us to do. Where they walk through, PBD does the math and goes back. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did.
Where they're talking about how they can basically do away with income tax.
Yep.
And back in the day, before we had income tax, that tariffs fully funded us, our military, everything. Okay. And this is why tariffs are so important. So he goes through the math. And one of the ideas that I liked a lot of, and I'm going a little bit on a tangent, was when he talked about how we owe so much money for Japan and how we should go back to Japan and say, hey guys, we've had our military here. We're spending all this money to protect you guys because, we have our bases there or we're paying for all of that. They don't give us anything, but we owe them money. Like, bro, what's up with that? So how about this? How about you pardon half of our debt? Right? Make that go away.
Yep.
And then we call it good.
Right.
Or we half our debt. And guess what? Now you pay us. You guys got to pay us for security. So, man, when you listen to stuff like that, guys, it just goes to show how much we're getting ripped off, man. But yeah, going back to Michael Johnson, we'll see, guys. Let's see what happens on March 14th. Okay. I'm so sick and tired of the Republicans not letting the government just shut down. Just shut it down. Get everything you want. Do not, especially this time, Alfred, we have a mandate. Okay. So there should be no negotiation. There is no compromise in meeting in the middle. No, I don't want to meet in the middle. You know what I'm saying? The middle between, what's the middle? Oh, we're not going to spend 100 billion. We're only going to spend 50 billion. How about 0 billion? How about that? When do we get everything?
Well, on that note, man, I think something good is, I don't know if you heard about this, but the Trump, I guess, meets with SoftBank CEO. And I think SoftBank CEO is, it's going to be investing $100 billion into United States on businesses, small businesses.
Okay.
So here's the video where they discuss a little bit of, actually Trump discusses a little bit of the conversation of what's going to happen. I think it's very interesting that we know that around this time now, he's not even president. And he's negotiating these deals with Japan. I mean, you mentioned Japan, but look, there's something going on here. So something good is happening here, and I think it's good for us and for our small businesses that we have, a bank, trying to, invest a little money. Here we go.
And we were discussing, and President Trump said, "Masa, $2 is not enough. Maybe go for more, right?"
All right. I'm going to ask him right now. Would you make it $200 billion instead of he can actually, believe it or not, he can actually afford to do that. Would you do that?
Well, my promise is 100, but he's now asking to do more. I think with your leadership, my partnership with you, with your support, I will try to make it happen.
That's good.
All right.
200. He'll make it. 200 billion investment.
What I mean?
He is a great negotiator.
That's what I mean, man.
He's a brilliant guy and did an unbelievable job. And the people of Japan and all over the world are very proud of him. They have tremendous respect for him. So when he does what he just did, and I would be surprised if it what didn't go to 2. When you say you'll try, I know you'll do it.
I will really try. And I need your support, though.
You'll have my support.
All right.
You'll have our country's support.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank you, Marcel, very much.
Fantastic.
Wonder what that means. I'll need your support. I will need your support though. So this guy, who is this guy? He's
the CEO for SoftBank Japan.
okay. So I'm wondering what we're trading for this because we're obviously trading something.
Well, I think for
He
the
said,
most,
I need your support. What is that?
well, you guys, if you want, if a little bit that's happening here, you understand that there, the United States has a lot of has a lot of a lot of potential with small businesses. A lot of these banks, they're ready to assist people with their small business loans. So SoftBank is wants to invest into the American economy for small businesses. And so I'm thinking, and again, I haven't read fully the note, but I'm just saying maybe in a sense, if they do invest these $200 billion, of course they're gonna need people to get involved into these loans. So who's gonna weed these people out? Through where are they gonna find out these people that could get these businesses or these loans?
Alfred, you're acting like these guys are this guy's coming in here and is like, hey, we want to invest in America and we want to give loan all these people. Well, first of all, yes, they want to give loans. That's how they make their money. Number
of course,
one.
I think they're interested into the American market.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, but how interested are they? So Trump said, hey, he 100 billion,
100 billion to
100 billion.
200 billion.
So he's like, well, how about you do 200 billion, right? So then he's like, okay, I'll try to make it happen. So Alfred, somebody who would really excited, 200 billion. Oh, no problem. Thank you. We'd love to do 200 billion. That's what somebody who's excited to invest in America and is so like, oh God, look at how blessed I am that I get to loan to American businesses. That what if that, then why is he not saying, well, can we actually do more, Trump? Can we do 300 billion? Why stop at 2? Why not 3? Okay?
I'm sure, bro.
My question, Alfred. So my question was, when he says, I'm going to need your support, what does that mean?
Maybe
because you're understand
yeah.
what this to me, I'm like, okay, well, there obviously was a conversation that took place before this press conference.
Of course.
Okay. Where the fact that he's saying, I'm going to need your support, he's reminding Trump, but I'm going to need your support. Okay. So support meaning I'm getting something out of this deal, which is why I'm agreeing to do 100 billion.
100%.
And now you're asking me to do 200 billion. Okay, I'll try to make it happen, Alfred, but I'm going to need your support.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So I'm just asking the question. What is that? What is that support? I don't know.
Yes, that is, and see, that's one of the things.
What does that mean? Is it worth? I mean, now this is now I'll kind of backpedal, Trump. I mean, Alfred, the good thing about Trump is I do trust that whatever the support is, it's worth the 200 billion or the 100 billion. Okay. It's a good deal. What are you saying?
Oh, Terry said, well, he has a BOD that he has to go through, I will imagine. So maybe
board of directors, yes.
Board, of course. Well, that means that he needs the support to convince the others to double down. And I'm probably wrong. No, there's no
good
wrong.
point, Terry.
No,
maybe you're right.
And again, that's one of the things that we have to have these discussions. I mean, it's good to ask. What are the terms? What are the terms? Right? What you're gonna get involved into these kind of terms.
Well, I
these
hope,
deals.
Yeah, I hope.
What
that's
are the terms?
case,
What's the blueprint? What's the small print?
Yes. Terry, I hope you're right, Terry, and it's just a case of okay, but I'm going to need you to make some phone calls because you're going to have to get the rest of the board to agree to 200 billion. Right?
I'm sure.
Look, I'm just being skeptical, guys. This is just how my mind works when I listen to this stuff, and it's how we should be. We can't just be like, oh yeah, this is great, guys. Like I hear things like that. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I need your support. Right away, my mind goes to like, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we giving up for this?
Yeah.
But this again, going back, I trust that Trump is not going to screw us. Like, in other words, like, we're not going to get $200 billion in loans. Like, okay, it's not like they're giving us $200 billion, first of all.
Of course.
They're loaning businesses. So it's like they're making money off of this. So
yeah.
anyhow, so
100%.
this is not a charity here.
100%. But the point of the matter is that now we have some sort of flux. You know, some sort of discussion between businesses out in Japan, out in wherever they're going to come from.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, it's something that America desperately needs. I mean, think about it. For the last 4 years, we've been kind of drying up. We've been relying heavily on what's, on what's here, right? And all businesses and everything that's happening here.
Yeah.
I mean, things are, it has been slow moving here.
Alfred, I sent you an email. Or do we have the AOC one?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So as a contrast, like pull this up or put that up, Alfred, the one we were checking out earlier. The point I want to make here is that this is what's nice about having like somebody who knows what they're doing. Oh, so you go to my email.
Yeah,
I sent you the email.
Yeah.
The comfort is we have grown-ups now out there representing us. Okay. That one right there. Yeah. So we have a competent president. Thank God we have a competent president that's out there, talking to these deals. You listen to this guy, he understands, that he's dealing with a professional, somebody he can respect, right? Which is why the guy says he's a great negotiator, and it seems all very genuine and all that stuff, right? Good relationship. But in the other hand, right? Can you guys? I can't even believe. Put this up, Alfred. I saw this on X, and I'm just like, are you guys serious? AOC, right? Like, in what world are we even? After the election, we heard talk of like, who are the Democrats going to run in 4 years? Who's on the bench? What stable do they got, right? Like, who they got coming up, right? They can run and be their next nominee for the presidency, right? And the name they throw out there is AOC, right? We've all heard Newsom, which is bad enough, but AOC, guys, really? I mean, it's so obvious because the only thing they can point to is the fact that she's got a name brand now, right? She's a known. Forget the fact that. Do you think this woman has any kind of negotiation skill or any sense? I mean, we've seen enough for her to know how stupid and ignorant she is, right? And so, are you looking? Can you make it big, Alfred? Because I can't see.
Yeah.
But I cannot believe that she was even considered to lead the House Oversight Committee. Are you kidding me? I mean, she barely. I mean, she's not even qualified to do the job she's doing now. Like, she's not even qualified. I forgot. Is she a congresswoman?
She's a congresswoman.
Or a senator? She's a congresswoman, right?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, she's not even qualified for that. If you're somebody right now that said, I'd like to run for Congress, but I don't feel that I am qualified to do so. Right?
Terry McNeely says, "Lord, let it be her."
No, honestly, so, oh man, this is the thing though, man, is that I do not. It's hard for me to trust the American people with this decision. Okay, I don't think AOC would be as bad of a candidate as Kamala Harris. Which, speaking of that, look at the other link I sent you.
Okay.
And put that up. I don't know what you think. You could put it on the chat. I think AOC will be more effective. I can see her getting votes. That's how Democrats and the layman, the layman, what are they? Independents, guys. We can't trust these independents. These independent voters. I've talked about this before. These are people that are lazy. Okay, the independent voter is lazy. Okay, they're people that do not have set values and beliefs. They have not sat there, and I'm sorry if you're an independent voter. Okay, I mean, you can call an independent voter, just so we can define it, as somebody who will vote for either Democrat or Republican. Okay, I don't see how you do that. I have no idea how you can do that. You have either this at this point, unless you're young in age, but I would say if you're in your early 30s and or older, by that time you better have most of the big things sorted out as far as your value system. Are you pro-life or pro-choice? Yes or no?
Mhm.
Right? Are you do you believe in government or small government? Is the government the solution? Yes or no? Do you believe that the government should run our healthcare? Yes or no? Like, you should have these clear values that you're not going to compromise on. Okay?
Mhm.
So that when you're somebody like that, and you're not gonna go back and forth on how you vote. You might not vote because maybe the candidates don't, right?
Mhm.
Which I think happened to a lot of black people. A lot of black people didn't vote. I think a
Chronicles.
lot of people didn't
Shout
vote.
out to Chronicles.
Chronicles. Oh, I don't know. He's in the chat.
No, yeah, no.
Oh.
He was in the chat yesterday.
Yeah, she's too far left. Could you imagine her going? Yeah, but see, that's true. I guess we haven't seen. Terry, you make a good point, but I think she could do it. I think she can pretend better than Kamala did.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She could pretend better. Now, that's the unknown factor now, because now we see there's a new standard for you to be president.
I mean, the bar is so low. I mean, don't disrespect, right, Donald Trump. But I'm just saying, like, for the left, the bar has been dropped so low that, golly, man.
Yeah, anybody could be.
Anybody.
But look, just as a reminder, look at Kamala. I guess I just saw this. I guess she came out with a new phrase. Let's see what she says here. I saw this. I haven't really listened to it.
The true test of our commitment is whether, in the face of an obstacle, do we throw up our hands or do we roll up our sleeves?
Oh, wow.
And as we approach, and I ask you
deep.
to remember the context in which you exist.
Oh.
Yeah, I did that.
Wow.
That was it?
That was it.
Oh. It's so amazing. It's so amazing that
Lee.
I just wonder if people like her, or a lot of the people like her that are in the public eye, are not self-aware. Like, I guess I'm so self-aware. I would like to think I'm very self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
I am very conscious of how, and I guess because in what I do, I manage a department, and I've just had a lot of situations where, because of my demeanor and my facial expressions,
Yep.
and when I get passionate about something, it gets misconstrued as aggression. So I have, like, at work, I have everybody that works for me is all females except for one person is a guy, which is kind of nice, to be honest, because I'm less, it's less stressful for me whenever I have to, like, when I'm getting frustrated
Mm-hmm.
with one of the girls or women, that I have to, like, be more self-aware of how I'm presenting myself, because it's caused me problems where people think that I'm being, like, I'm mad or I'm yelling, but I'm not. I mean, I know my voice is louder, but I'm just, like, passionate or frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so my voice gets higher. So the point that I'm making here is that I don't understand how somebody like her has not watched like all of the like all of the videos of herself. And
she lives in a bubble, brother.
How much she's been clowned and been like, man.
They don't see. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things that I'm always saying, like, bro, do they even have are they allowed to be on Twitter to be able to see some of the memes, shout out to the Dilly machine, the team Dilly, man, shout out to them. I mean, all these memes and all these videos in regards to her, man, like people don't pay attention.
Yeah, man.
These people are not paying. They really don't. I think they're, like you said, they don't know. They don't understand their surroundings. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Democrats failed this election. They were so disconnected from their voters.
Yeah.
Think about it. They chuck away 12 million voters that voted for Biden and put this woman instead.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if the fact that they have a name for you, like Kakala Harris, right?
Yeah.
Like I would
Kathleen Harris.
Harris. Like if people, I would be. I know it sounds bad, guys, because if I had this thing where people always made fun of me about the way I laugh,
yeah,
like just randomly stupid things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, call me bad for not. Some people, okay. Some people's point of view is like would say to you, Isaac, you can't allow people to dictate, how you laugh, bro.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to laugh when you want to laugh.
Yeah.
Be you.
Yeah.
Be your genuine. I hate terms like that.
You're in a safe space, bro. Be your genuine. This is a safe space.
Be your best self. Be the best version of yourself. Anyway, stuff like that, right? People say like,
yeah.
And I would say, well, okay, I get it to a certain extent, but I would make an effort. Like if I were her, I would make an effort to even either laugh less because of the career that I'm in. You know what I mean? The career that I'm in, the trade that I'm in, okay, is the feedback I'm getting is this laugh and this cackling, whatever it is,
bro.
It's hurting my career here.
I think. Okay? Listen, I think there has to. There might have. There should have, would have had a conversation. I think her staffers should have a conversation, dude. See, when you have competent people, you're saying, hey, when you laugh out of the woodwork, like after you say something and you laugh, that's a no-go. I'm sure she's getting somebody. I mean, somebody should be, right? As a friend, I'm going to be like, hey, when you're talking and you do, and it's awkward for you, don't laugh.
Yeah.
Please don't laugh. Don't laugh because it's hurting your,
right.
It's hurting your outcome. It's hurting. I don't think nobody told. I don't think nobody told her.
It doesn't seem to happen, guys. Like, wouldn't you okay, let's review. You're the Kamala team. You just got lost. You just lost bad, right? And then I would think you would have okay, let's go back and look at the campaign. Let's go look at the good, the bad, the ugly. What can we do to do better? Well, let's on the list, the cackling, these stupid phrases that you keep talking about.
The checklist.
And the fact that she even stopped and said, when she said
it was me. It was like,
no, what did she say? When she said
the hands, was it the hands? Oh man.
No, go, let's watch it again. Let's watch it again because I'll tell you where this section here tells you that she knows.
The true test of our commitment is whether in the face of an obstacle, do we throw up our hands?
Okay.
Or do we roll up our sleeves?
Oh, wow, that's deep. The crowd, Alfred, like the whole crowd, the reaction, right, is like, whoa.
It's like I could just picture this in the back. I could just picture, like when they're, everybody, again, you're not seeing anybody, you're just hearing the crowd. I could just picture the staffers, bro, with multiple cards, big cards, right? And she's about to say some, that apparently to them it's smart.
Deep. No, this is supposed to be like some, but the people in the room, Alfred, they're like,
exactly.
Like, whoa.
It's kind of what
deep. That, wow.
When you go into a studio, right? And you're going into a comedy, right? Let's say you're going into a comedy. What is the first thing that they see? That you see the big old sign that says applause, right? It's kind of like you say something, everybody laughs, and you laugh, and everybody laughs.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is
And,
exactly
look
what.
at her expression when you pause it right now, Alfred. Look at her. She's just looking at them like she look at her face. She's like, mm-hmm.
Like
I just gave you guys a nugget.
That was me.
I just gave you guys some knowledge right now. Wow. I just changed your life a little bit with that. Like you guys don't even, right? Oh my gosh. Hey, so okay, so hit play the rest of this.
Okay.
Be ready to pause though, Alfred.
Yep.
And as we approach,
Wow.
and I ask you
She
to
laughs.
remember the context in which you exist.
Pause. Okay, so that, so they did this. See, this tells me, Alfred, that she knows that phrase that she says, that that context in which you exist,
In which you exist.
right? She knows that people have mocked her over this, and that's why she's saying it to be funny.
Right.
So,
But it doesn't.
this tells you.
But it's awkward, bro. It's just so awkward. I mean, when you think about it, in the context of what you exist. Listen, I am not no Scot, bro. English is my second language. Okay. So for me to be able to hear some of the things that she say, it just sometimes that, bro, could that be me sometimes trying to make sentences that don't make sense? That's what I say sometimes.
I don't understand these people. Alfred, like this just, excuse me, this just an indication of how, man, these people are not smart. How did we end up? Well, we know how, because we allowed it to happen. We don't pay attention.
Right.
Guys, this is the consequence of our ignorance, that we've allowed people like Kamala Harris. Can you blow this up? I mean, look at, so I can see it. I know they can see it, but guys, look at her face. It's just, do you have friends that are this stupid? I don't have friends that are this stupid, Alfred.
Like, bro, I counted the words, and she said literally 11 words.
It's crazy.
11 words. And in this,
Alfred.
look, in this 11 words, she went from being and to laugh and to clap. It's just like, what the? And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, dude, whatever this 7 words that she said, it doesn't compute to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Look, you're laughing. It's like,
the true test of our commitment.
Yeah, that was it. But it just does not stop. Guys, we're from California, so that's where we're at. The fact that they're even talking about her possibly running for governor, and the scary thing is, guys, is that she's probably gonna win. That's God help us.
California, exactly.
I mean, I don't know. We
haven't suffered enough, right?
We already have,
like, bro. Yeah, like this guy is destroying California, and here we are. She's coming back to the Mecca, progressive Mecca, right? And to destroy more California.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
Terry said, "Do we have to look at her face?" I know, bro.
I'm sorry to do that. I honestly cannot stand any of that, but sometimes we got to watch it back, guys. We can't forget.
Lorena Sanchez said, "President is bad for her to consider running again, but so is running for California, for governor of California. Please, no, I'm in California.
Yeah,
it'd be horrific. 100%. We're here with you.
Yeah,
come on, like 800,000 people. The mass exodus in the last 4 years hasn't hurt much of California. Do you know this is going to hinder more people in California?
I mean, what's she going to do different though, Alfred, that we have now? I mean,
I don't think she's more progressive. It's just going to be more.
Worse. Yeah,
she's going to be more progressive, more laws, more regulations. It's going to be crazy in California, man.
The hope that we have, at least Lorena, hopefully, is she's so obnoxious. But when you listen to the audience that's in that room, I can't even believe people go listen to her. I wonder how many people.
I-
If there was 10 people in that room, that was 10 too many.
I honestly, I'll be honest with you. I don't even think the people are there on their own will. I think they're paid actors.
I don't know, Alfred.
Paid
Listen,
actors.
man.
Who
Look,
would bus people? I mean, to stadiums. Same people busing buses after buses. Who would?
Alfred, okay, I was listening to something about, I don't remember where, but this is the thing that, okay, we always compare things to Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, right? That's
Mhm.
kind of like the we can look back. You know, there was Nazis that even after Germany's in rubbles, right? The Allies come in and they're taking over their country, right?
Yeah.
They come in, the Russians come in,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Then after the war is over, they're having to pick up, literally the German people are picking up rubble and cleaning up the city
Mhm.
because it's all in ruin. Hitler kills himself, supposedly, allegedly, right? And yet you still, Alfred, you still have people that were still believers, though. Okay, that's the thing you have to remember, is that there's still people that even after all of that, Alfred, they never were red pilled, if you will. They never were red pilled. They still believed in Hitler and his Nazi Germany. They were still believers, bro.
100%.
Okay, so we cannot. Yes, dude, were people paid? Yes, and incentivized to go. But I don't know, man. I think the people in that room, they're those believers, bro. They're those believers that even after, you know, like I said, like those Germans, bro, those Germans that were out there watching people, dead kids on the streets. Imagine the things that they saw
Yeah.
and witnessed with their own eyes, Alfred, and they still couldn't, and they still weren't red pilled. They still never, they still were never unbrainwashed.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
That's what's freaking scary, bro. About I mean, if we're learning anything, I mean, look at us right now, Alfred. We're joking about potentially, you know, we having either UFOs or drones from a foreign country, you know, flying over. We don't know what they are, and yet we're still here doing a podcast, right? I mean, think about, okay, put it like this, Alfred. If tomorrow we wake up and them daggone drones start attacking people, right? Or it turns out they're aliens and we're being invaded, okay? And let's just generalize it by saying it turns out that these drones are a threat and they're bad and they have bad intentions. And any moment now, Alfred, they're going to start attacking us, okay? And they do attack us and they ruin our cities, right? And then history would look back, Alfred, and say, oh, Isaac and Alfred were still doing the Unrestrained podcast the freaking day before the D-Day, the day that drones came in and destroyed America. These idiots were still out there going to work. What the heck were they thinking? You know what I mean? Hopefully I'm making sense.
You are, bro.
But
Listen, but to your point, bro. But to your point in regards to the drones, bro, what do you expect when you have congressmen, you know, going out into the media and putting out this statement? Check it out.
Yeah.
The House Intelligence Committee is having a hearing on this. We need to identify who is behind these drones. My judgment, based on my experience, is that those that are over our military sites are adversarial and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
Do you think you'll be satisfied with what you hear today?
Probably not. I think they're going to say they don't know. And that's a concern in and of itself, that if we have drones flying around military bases and we can't identify where they came from or who's responsible for them. I know there are a lot of commercial drones out there, and Secretary Mayorkas has talked about this. That's fine. But the ones flying over our military bases, by definition, I would say, are adversarial. We need to know who is behind that because I believe they're spy drones. And the PRC, Chinese, Communist China, is very good at this stuff. And we know they bought land around military bases. This would be very consistent with their policy over the last couple of years.
So I mean, to what he's saying, he's not wrong. But at the same time, when you have a current administration, right, that the first thing that comes out is like, hey, there's something going on. We're seeing drones. So I mean, like, nobody says anything. No, nobody knows. We can't confirm or deny. We have people on the ground working on it.
No, he has a point that when we think about it, Alfred, they've bought all these properties next to military bases. Like, how do we know these drones aren't being launched right off there? So, again, my point being, Alfred, is just that we're living out. I'm trying to make the point, Alfred, that we're the times that we're living in. Okay, because I mean, I like history, and I love World War II movies.
I love that,
and all the Schindler's List, all of the Holocaust movies.
Yeah, I love.
And when you watch that stuff, which sucks that it happened, but when you watch it, I don't know if everybody's like has the same thing where you just like, how could they have allowed this to happen? Wasn't it so obvious? Like the movie The Pianist. I don't know if you guys have seen it in a long time, but that's another Holocaust movie.
I love that movie, man.
Where in the beginning of the movie, like the family, they're like in the house, and it's kind of like the beginning of the Germans is the beginning of their policies, and one of the policies that like the dad, the father of the household, is reading an article, and he's reading how I want to say that the article was saying that they were going to limit how much money they could have in the bank or something like that. And also they were going to have to start wearing the Star of David on their shirt. Right. And they're like, okay, well, I guess we got to, that's the new law. Right. And how progressively, these laws are being passed. And the whole time you're like, oh God, how did these guys not see what was going on? They were just hopeful that, okay, it's not going to get much worse. Right. And the next thing you know, they're getting rounded up and put in the ghettos, right? Yes. And now they're in the ghettos, and they're like, okay, well, I guess this is where we live now. Well, at least it's not, hopefully it doesn't get much worse. Oh, guess what? Now you're getting taken to the ghettos, put in training, put in exclamation camps, right?
Yep.
So we're living, Alfred, it just seems like we're living in times like that, where we could potentially look back and be, you just played a video of one of our government officials talking about like, well, I think it's China and it's spies, right? Mm-hmm. And here we are, guys, just like whatever, right? We're
so desensitized, bro.
We lived through we lived through COVID, and we're like, okay, we were locked up. Well, okay, now we're free. We're not locked up anymore, so we're happy. Okay, and like Mitch McConnell, the guy just freezes up, right? And we all see it, and we're like, okay. And then we go about our lives, go to work, go to school, whatever it is you do with your life. And you're like, bro, like, why isn't anybody doing anything about it? And you have this article, I think it's on the Washington Post, where, Mitch McConnell, what is this?
What is it? It says, writes a piece on foreign policy, and he wants war? No?
Yeah, he's talking about the rejecting isolism. Rejecting being isolationist and embrace primacy, right? So how these are always talking about how we can't be isolationist,
right?
Which I'm now like, no, we need to be isolationist.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what we need to be. We need to go back to that. But anyways, you got Mitch McConnell out there making supposedly decisions. How is that even happening? How is this guy doing his job freezes when the guy can't even
that falls and shows up with bandages and and bruises and he's 86. He freezes in the middle of conversation. He's making decisions that impacts The United States populate 300 and
Is
something
he really
million.
making those decisions?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
but the guy still wants to. He still wants to be in the Senate with his coffin, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like he knows he can't move anymore. He can't do anything. He can't think straight, but he wants to be there.
Yeah.
Power grab.
Yeah. So it's just unbelievable, guys. But it's funny, Lorena Sanchez, I saw this earlier. Be better if it were aliens to come for all the Democrats to do some massive experiments and try and figure out why certain segments of the Earthlings can be so stupid. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Hey,
would you be curious if you were an alien?
Yeah, of course. I mean, think about. Remember the movies? Remember Abduction?
Yeah.
People were getting abducted, and they say, "Oh, I was put in a bed," and there was some stuff, and they're doing some, I felt like I was watching everything. You know what I mean? Like experiments. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's scary that if this is the Chinese, which I do believe that it's the Chinese. I don't believe it's our own equipment.
I mean,
that just doesn't make sense that it's like our own military.
This is the second time I've heard, somebody in that particular role as a congressman saying the same thing. They're saying that Iran and China are working together, and I mean, and you've heard Trump said, "Hey, man, if you don't know what it is, shut it down, man. We'll rather ask for forgiveness than to know that they're doing things."
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen. I mean, wherever it leads us. I mean, are they really the HPGEs that are drones that are detecting radiation? We don't know. I mean, the contract. We don't know.
Well, if that's the case, then that's still concerning, Alfred. Because why are we concerned about radiation then?
Exactly.
So
I mean, I heard another piece that some
we're circling back to where we started, but
exactly,
yeah,
100%.
Oh yeah, we were circling back to what we started talking about in the beginning of the podcast, but yeah, it's just interesting time, guys. We're living in super crazy times, okay, and hopefully we don't look back and history doesn't look back on us and be like, man, it was so obvious that the Chinese were fixing to go in.
They're buying land
and just I don't know. I mean, I'm not worried about them invading us,
right?
But I mean, I do see how they can take these drones right now and just crash them into something and destroy something. I don't know. They could crash them in my house if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like this podcast and they follow me home and they're like, we're taking this guy out
through a drone.
And they could just take that drone and smash. I mean, supposedly these things are as big as an SUV.
They're big. Yeah, they're as big as an SUV.
I mean, they can just crash land that right into my house.
They're unmanned. Okay, so some people were saying like, are they manned vehicles? No, they're unmanned. They can't. There's nobody in there. They're being radio controlled. They're being controlled, and they're unmanned. And they're allegedly. And again, that's because we're speculating because we don't know. They don't even know, and that's a problem.
Yeah, we got a lot going on, guys. So. I don't know, Alfred. What are we gonna do? Because next week is
the 20. Yeah, next week is the 23rd. I think we should take a break. A couple. Spend the time with the family. I think.
And then we have the next week after that is
New Year's.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, New Year's Eve. So I don't know, man. We'll talk offline and see if we.
So we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do, guys, because we're normally on Tuesdays, but this year it's falling on the eves.
On the eves, yes.
On the eves,
on the days of. So it's tough, but hey, we'll figure it out, man.
So we'll see what we could do because it would kind of suck to not have. We got like 2 weeks, but then again, y'all are gonna be with your families anyways. But we'll see. We'll see what we'll do. That's why you should
TBD.
Like and subscribe.
Help us out.
Go on the Unrestrained podcast and make sure you hit that notification button. And if you guys are back here on the Lexit, if we pop up, then be ready to jump on. But yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys. Terry, Lorena, I don't know who else is in the chat, but normally we had a lot more activity on the chat, but I think because we took last week, I wasn't here last week.
We took a week and people are like, nah, they're gonna be there now.
Yeah, guys.
That's
so sorry.
how it is, man. You know how these Latinos are, man.
Yeah, but
never show up.
But Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy New Year. definitely remember the reason for the season.
Yes.
Which I was at Knott's Berry. Do you ever go to Knott's Berry Farm, Alfred?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you ever
It's all
seen-
decorated now.
Well, you know, I go every year, and they have the Snoopy on ice.
Yeah, Snoopy.
show.
Yep.
So it's always cool, man. How they
Decorated. They, you know.
well, no, not decorating, bro. They give the message of Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
On the show, so they remind people of the reason for the season,
The real reason.
So it's cool to see that, and it always gets me right in the corazón when they do it, because it's so cool, man. It's like, yeah, man, to be in like a secular setting, if you will,
Yeah.
and be at a amusement park, which is known here in Southern California. It's not Disneyland, but it's cool. It's cool that every year they continue to remind people that, you know, Jesus came,
Yep.
you know, to pay the price for our sins, and that God sent His only Son, right?
Mhm.
And now we have the gift of salvation,
Facts.
which is the reason for the season, which is
100%.
Christmas, guys. So we want to make sure we, you know, for those of you that are believers, and even if you're not a believer, I encourage you to remind your family for the reason for the season, because I get sick and tired of the happy holidays, guys. I refuse to say happy holidays.
Oh
at
man,
work.
I saw a video that the first lady, Dr. Jill Biden,
Uh-huh.
you know, came out and met with a group of kids,
Okay.
and she's like,
And
"Hey,
did she say
happy
Merry
holidays!"
Christmas?
No, she said, "Happy holidays, happy holidays."
Uh-huh.
And one of the kids stood out and screamed at her and said, "Merry Christmas,
Oh,
Merry
good.
Christmas."
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it was like,
There you
bro,
go.
like,
She got
right,
put on check.
She got put on check. She got put
Yes.
on blast. You
Yep.
know, not it's not happy holidays. It's Merry Christmas.
Right. Merry Christmas, guys, and a happy New Year. Hopefully, we'll see you guys before the year ends. If not, this could be the last podcast for 2024. Yeah, man, we'll see what 2025 has
Oh
to
man, I
bring.
can't wait.
It's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we make it that far, bro. I mean, it's looking pretty crazy.
Looking
We were out for
wild.
2 weeks, and a whole country fell.
Yep.
Syria fell, and now we're being invaded by drones. And that was just 2 weeks, Alfred.
Within 2 weeks.
So
That's
there's
right.
plenty of time for us to not even make it to 2025.
And the government continues to, you know, throw out pork, right, with the CR. And now we're in debt. You know, we're into I don't know how many trillions of dollars in debt, and it continues, man. We just continues. I mean,
Yeah,
bro.
So let's just hope we make it, guys. Be in
Yes.
prayer. For all we know, we'll be speaking Mandarin in the next week and a half, being put in chains. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that would surprise me. So we'll see what happens.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
Well, thanks so much, everyone. God bless, and
All right.
we'll see you hopefully this new year.
All
Take care.